In 2011, the streets of Delhi were filled with tens of thousands of people rallying behind a hunger strike against government corruption. This movement promised a new era of politics, birthing a party that swore it would never resemble the establishment it fought. But today, that distance has vanished. 7 out of the Aam Aadmi Party's 10 upper house lawmakers have crossed the floor to join the BJP, the exact organization they once labeled a den of criminals. This wasn't just individual resignations. Under Indian law, if 1 or 2 politicians switch parties, they lose their seats. But when 7 out of 10 members move as a single bloc, they bypass the anti-defection law entirely, keeping their power while changing their colors. The timing was clinical. The merger was finalized while the party's founder, Arvind Kejriwal, was held in a prison cell on federal charges. It left the remaining 3 loyalists with no leader and no remaining influence in the chamber. To the party loyalists, these 7 are traitors fleeing from federal investigators. But to the defectors, they are refugees escaping a leadership that replaced its original ideals with internal paranoia. The collapse of this political fortress began long before the merger, starting with the very people who were meant to guard it. Raghav Chadha was the face of the party's corporate-ready future. As Arvind Kejriwal's constant shadow, he operated as a de facto super CM, filtering every bureaucratic move in Punjab. But as the Enforcement Directorate began arresting the party's top leadership, Chadha disappeared from the public eye. He spent weeks in London, citing an urgent need for eye surgery. While his colleagues sat in jail, Chadha was allegedly weighing his options. Whether he was pushed out by the rise of internal rivals or pulled away by the threat of investigative files, his departure signaled the end of the party's unified front. When a leader is no longer there to protect his inner circle, the inner circle starts looking for a new protector. Sandeep Pathak was the architect of the party's expansion. An IIT professor who used data to flip entire states, he provided the strategic muscle that turned a protest movement into a multi-state government. Despite his success, the party's core leadership began treating their chief strategist as a subordinate. Pathak found himself sidelined from major campaign decisions, his data ignored by a shrinking circle of personal loyalists. When a political organization stops listening to its own intelligence, that intelligence eventually goes elsewhere. Pathak took his data and his loyalty to the very camp he was fired to defeat. The party lost its brain because the leadership insisted on being the only voice in the room. For over 10 years, Swati Maliwal embodied the party's roots in street-level activism. As a fierce advocate for women's rights, she was the primary link between the party's power and its original moral claims. That link snapped after an alleged physical assault took place inside the chief minister's own home. The party's response was a calculated silence. By protecting the accused and ignoring Maliwal, the leadership signaled that political survival had officially overtaken its commitment to justice. The ideology of a movement is only as strong as its behavior behind closed doors. To project an image of mainstream success, the party recruited wealthy backers like Ashok Mittal and celebrities like Harbhajan Singh. They were the party's financial and cultural shields. Inside the party, these elite members were often preoccupied with status, bickering over the allocation of luxury bungalows like the infamous Cody No. 50, while the rank-and-file dealt with legal battles. The tipping point came when federal raids hit Mittal's business interests. For a corporate-backed politician, a seat in the opposition is a liability. A seat with the ruling party is a shield. High-status allies aren't looking for a cause to die for, they're looking for a portfolio to protect. During the Anna movement, Arvind Kejriwal often spoke like a master jeweler. He claimed he was digging through the mud of Indian politics to find raw diamonds, people who would never sell out for power. The irony is that these hand-selected diamonds have become the sharpest tools used to dismantle his political home. This mass defection suggests that the party's internal culture has become indistinguishable from the system it set out to destroy. Instead of a revolutionary movement, the Aam Aadmi Party now operates like a private limited company, run on the same mechanics of personal loyalty and fear that dominate its rivals. The question is whether this collapse was inevitable. Is this the work of opportunists abandoning a sinking ship, or a reaction to a leader who forgot the people who put him there? Tell us what you think in the comments.